If I did my guides correctly and if the strats are truly consistent, then you should easily be able to go early Celadon/Saffron pre-Surge with these 18 mons. Feel free to watch my playlist from Brock Split to Surge Split to see it for yourself. The save files/teamsets of every fight are in the description. As you'll be seeing in the following fights, I hatched lots of fire and grass starter eggs for Surge. These are the 12 locations that I chose to hatch in Celadon starter eggs. After 5 dupes, this is what I ended up getting. I did 1 fire egg and 1 grass egg until I got Meowscarada and Incineroar. Also, if this actually happens in the next update, then Viridian Forest Area 2 would be fire egg number 16. For Tucker, I lead with Protean Muscle Band Meowscarada. If Supercell ever drops the next patch, I think that the Protean Gen 9 nerf will be applied. Every super effective move that I do is basically an OKO thanks to Protean. Since Thunder Punch easily OKOs, the AI hard switches to Lightning Rod Pikachu. For Surge, I lead with Bold Battle Armor Berserker. Thanks to my nature and my moves, the AI always sets up so I get a free U-turn into Meowscarada which always OKOs. So why does Electrode always comes out? Hitmonlee, Palmot and Ampharos get a score of 0 as they don't outspeed. Electrode Hisui and Raichu Alola gets a score of plus 14 for outspeeding. But since I have a move that can 2-hit KO Electrode, the score is now plus 13. For Raichu, I have a move that can OKO so the score is back to 0. Also, Meowscarada is Gentle Nature meaning Explosion is now an OKO. I intentionally switch in Berserker to tank the damage. Let's find out real quick why does the AI switches in Ampharos. Raichu, Hitmonlee and Palmot gets a score of plus 14 as they all outspeed Berserker. But since I have moves that can 2-hit KO Raichu, Hitmonlee, and Palmot, the scores are now plus 13. For Ampharos on the other hand, what you want to look at is the normal Ampharos stats and not the Mega Evolved stats. Normal Ampharos gets a score of plus 14 for outspeeding. I U-turn into Ceruledge for immunity. And I get a free switch to Azumarill as the AI always clicks on Dragon move. Against Raichu, I pivot VA Lantern. Then I flip turn to Ceruledge for Shadow Sneak OKO. Palmot comes out so I pivot Yash Berry Torterra for the free OKO. Now that I no longer have an item, the AI could either close combat or setup. And in both scenarios, Azumarill wins as the AI will prefer to click knockoff first. For Bugsy, I lead with Rain Dish Mystic Water Tentacruel. Thanks to Scald and Rain, the AI will never hard switch. So I Bubble Beam into Rapid Spin for free. As a counter for Araquanid, I got Water Absorb Frillish. AI hard switches to Scyther, which is fine, as it gets absolutely walled by Shell Armor Cloister. I put Nevermelt Ice so that I can Icicle Spear 2 hit into Ice Shard OKO. I switch in Gyarados to 2-hit KO Scizor. Lokix gets unalived by First Impression Golisopod. Vikavolt always clicks on Electric, so I pivot VA Lantern for Eerie Impulse. This fight's pretty much over. For Morty, I lead with Decidueye Hisui. I click on Leaf Blade into Defog. Dusknoir comes out, and since the AI really likes to spam status moves when you're full HP, I pivot Cinderace. I U-turn into Meowscarada for resistance, and I U-turn into Ceruledge for the OKO. I have ran back this fight 100 times, the AI never clicks on Shadow Sneak. I think the mechanics changed because back then if you can outspeed an OKO, the AI always go for the priority move. Now they seem to only click on priority if it's actually OKO. Let me know if you've seen this too. Gengar comes out, so I pivot Clear Body Tentacruel for resistance and flip turn. This fight's pretty much over. For Channeler Ruth, I lead with Intimidate, Chople, Berry, Incineroar for Fake Out, and Chestnut for the free OKO on Pincurchin. Drifblim always comes out and always sets up instead of OKOing. And the moment you land a Snarl, the AI always sets up, which makes this entire fight long but free. I switch in my Ceruledge to Will-O-Wisp the Grimmsnarl. Also, I put moves on Mightyena that are all resisted by Cresselia and Grimmsnarl to bait the AI to always switch them in. Meaning I can mindlessly spam Psychic Fang and Snarl until the T comes out. AI switches in the T, so I go for one Snarl and I pivot Intimidate Gyarados. Lastly, I stop snarling and I go for the 2-hit KO on the T. Now that I have access to Will-O-Wisp TM, I go in the dojo. For Chuck, I lead with Charizard for the free Will-O-Wisp. If the AI Stealth Rocks turn 1, then in turn 2, the AI will always Volt Switch out. Thanks to my moves and my nature, the AI always brings in Zamazenta to be burned. Now I can just freely heal up and defog. I switch in the Unaware Dirge for the 2-hit KO. Post KO AI will always switch in Como as it has the highest score plus 14. I pivot Kabia Berry Azumarill for immunity and Drain Kiss. Next I pivot Ceruledge for immunity and OKO. Thanks to my moves and nature, the AI always brings in the Annihilate. This always sets up, thanks to Case of Berry. I pivot the Dirge to stall until it's 50% and then I OKO. The Lade comes out, so I pivot Intimidate Incineroar and land a burn for free. I switch back in Dirge to stall. AI can either click on Knock Off or EQ, so I pivot my full HP Charizard and I unalive the Sneasler with Berserker. Lastly for Cobalion, I 2-hit KO with Ceruledge. For Aiden, I lead with Ceruledge not holding an item and the Dirge holding a berry and minus special defense nature. This lead makes the AI always focus on Dirge, never Ceruledge. I pivot the 2 Intimidate Dark-type Mons for resistance and to force the AI to always hard switch. After 100 resets, the AI always hard switches into Arcanine. Also, our Marouge always clicks on Flamethrower versus Mightyena. My current theory is that for this double battle against Aiden, the AI always clicks the first move that can OKO. The order of the moves are in the official HC mode docs. Adamant Arbok Sucker Punch always OKO as our Marouge now has -1 in defense and the Arcanine gets unalived. Serena and Basculegion always comes out. If you didn't know, in double battles, the AI chooses moves for each of its Mons in turn order. Fastest Mon gets calculated first, accounting for priority etc. And if the first AI Mon can kill one of the player's Mons, the second AI Mon will never target that Mon, which as you can see here, I'm exploiting it. I know that Serena will always go for Power Whip OKO on my minus defense nature Gyarados and the Basculegion will never target it. I do activate the second version of the anti-abuse AI here by switching from Pokemon A to Pokemon B to Pokemon A, but it will never matter, as Cerulege outspeeds and can KO Basculegion. Also, Serena is choice scarfed. This fight's pretty much over. For Herman, I lead with pre-poisoned Silk Scarf Gyarados and Cloud9 Golduck. Instead of putting Citrus, I put Rindo Berry on Golduck as the AI seems to prefer Solar Beam in this patch. I always live a crit and it always baits another Solar Beam from the AI, so this is quite free. For Dana, I will show 3 replays of this fight as the AI actually behaves differently if Rabombi is alive in the back or if it's unalive. So I lead with Clear Body Modest Tentacruel. I click on Sludge to get it to 1 horsepower into Rapid Spin to get rid of Sticky Web. Bouffalant always comes as I intentionally made it so that the cow would have a score of plus 14 for outspeeding and Clowitzer has 0, thanks to Ring Out. Thanks to Shuka Berry, the AI here will always click normal type move, meaning I can freely switch in Shuka Berry Cerulege for immunity and Will-O-Wisp. And since Rabombi is alive in the back, the AI will never hard switch even if you -6 attack the Bouffalant. Resist berries are also amazing as it forces, for example, the Bouffalant to always click on dark type move instead of EQ, meaning I can freely pivot Azumarill. I click on Bulldoze so that Berserker would outspeed and take the 2-hit KO. AI switches in Clowitzer. Best possible move is Aura Sphere, which means I can switch in Golisopod. I always live even if AI crits twice. I click on First Impression to get some chip damage and I emergency exit into Cerulege to finish the job. Magmortar comes out. I switch in Azumarill for resistance and to bait Thunderbolt. Here it gets a bit tricky as the AI can either click on Dark Pulse or Aura Sphere. That's why I gave my Lantern a Citrus Berry and plus Special Defense Nature, as all I need is to get 1 Thunder Wave off. It's really important that I unalive the Magmortar with Flip Turn here so that I can switch in Berserker for Mold Breaker Rampardos. This is the reason why I kept Berserker at really high HP, as battle armor won't work at all against this mon. This fight's pretty much over. In this replay, I unalive the Rabombi, which basically makes the AI always hard switch once Bouffalant is burned and Berserker is out in battle. AI always hard switches to Clowitzer as it has a score of plus 31 against Berserker. I go for Golisopod, but this time I click on Sucker Punch as I don't want to unalive the shrimp accidentally by critting. After unaliving Clowitzer, the AI here could either switch in Bouffalant or Magmortar. To make the AI always hard switch, I switch in Berserker when Bouffalant goes for Dark type move on Ceruledge. That always guarantees the AI to hard switch from what I've seen in the 100 resets I've done for Dana. AI switches in Magmortar, so I pivot Azumarill into Lantern. Unexpectedly, AI hard switches to Bouffalant, which is fine thanks to the burn status. It forces the AI here to always go for normal type move instead of EQ on Lantern. If you noticed a few turns before, I always clicked on Iron Head against Bouffalant just in case the AI somehow hard switches in the Rampardos early on. This fight's pretty much over. For Picnicker Caitlyn, I lead with Cerulege for Will-O-Wisp. Once the second mon is burned, it'll stay and I take the free OKO. Against Spinda, I burn it and I spam Night Slash. This fight is basically free thanks to Cerulege and the Dirge. For last Alicia, I lead with Chesto Berry Cerulege for the free 2-hit KO. I intentionally made my moves to be 4-hit KO on Flareon so that the post-KO AI always switches in Flareon as it has a score of plus 31 for outspeeding and my moves are all 4-hit KOs. I pivot my Intimidate Chillin' Berry Gyarados to make the AI hard switch to Bruxish for resisting all my moves. Best possible move from the AI is Psychic, so I switch in my Arbok for immunity and I take the free OKO. Chatot comes out, so I pivot Dirge for immunity. AI U-turns into Flareon, which is fine thanks to Gyarados. I click on Scary Face this time so that Azumarill can outspeed and easily OKO. Lastly for Chatot, it'll just spam U-turns. This isn't exploitable at all though, I think it's 50-50. Some fights it'll go for chatter and stick with it, sometimes it'll spam U-turns. Hope I was able to help you. Every team sets and save files of every fight are on my website if you ever need them. Find out with me if it's possible to do a guaranteed deathless Nuzlocke of Radical Red 4.0 in this series of hardcore mode AI Nuzlocke strategies. Thanks for watching.